He's one of the fascinating figures in college athletics. Bill McCartney is a native of Riverview, Michigan. He has won a national championship. He is a reformed alcoholic and a born-again Christian. McCartney's coaching career began in Dearborn at Divine Child High School, working for Tony Versace, who was the head coach at the time.
I sensed that he was very loyal, he was very dedicated, he was committed, and whatever technical knowledge he didn't have at that time, he was prepared to make a commitment to learn.
He didn't know me from anyone, and he was reluctant, but he gave me a job. And I look back on those years, those were great years. That was fun. That was a lot more fun than this is.
McCartney succeeded Versace as head coach in 1971. His teams won state titles in both football and basketball in 1973. McCartney joined Bo Schembechler's staff a year later.
I thought I had arrived. I mean, I thought this is as good as it gets, because here I am in Michigan, a great coach, a great program.
McCartney spent 8.5 years in Ann Arbor, the last 5 as Michigan's defensive coordinator.
I wasn't qualified. I was a high school coach. And no matter what a high school coach brings, he's not ready. He has to be taught and trained, and that's where I was. And they were good enough to break me in and season me in. And Bo made the call that got me the interview out here in Colorado. If he doesn't call, I don't interview.
He not only got the job, he's taken the Colorado program to the top in college football. The Buffaloes played for the national title in 1989 and 90, defeating Notre Dame in the 91 Orange Bowl to earn the #1 ranking.
#1 for Colorado! Yeah! Nice job!
McCartney's team is highly ranked again, and he's bringing his players and coaches back home with him to play the Wolverines.
From a personal standpoint, how meaningful is this for you to go back to Ann Arbor with your team?
The truth?
Yeah.
It's just fun to have a chance to go back into that big stadium where I have so many friends and so many family and so on that are still there. This is fun. I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm not going to let the hype of the game or the build-up before the game destroy my perspective.
Football has been an important part of Bill McCartney's life for years now, but it no longer consumes him as it once did. His commitment to Christ and family come first now.
I consider myself a Christian who just happens to be a coach. That's the overriding factor in my life that I depend upon, is a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's where my strength comes from.
Folsom Stadium will be filled to capacity for each of the Buffs' home games this fall. But before the Colorado players ever arrived back on campus, this stadium had already been rocking. And in among 52,000 men was the Colorado coach, Bill McCartney. McCartney co-founded Promise Keepers, an evangelical Christian crusade for men. 4 years ago, 72 men attended the first convention. This year, nearly 240,000 men attended 6 gatherings across the country.
This is a time when we have a downward spiral of morality. Our families are at stake, they're at risk. What's happening in the homes is wrong. And so this is calling men to take regard and responsibility.
Critics argue Promise Keepers attempts to dominate women, and the group is accused of gay bashing. McCartney's outspoken views on abortion and homosexuality have generated controversy in Boulder, which is one of the more liberal college towns in America. His very involvement in the movement is worrisome to many.
They want to know, are you coaching football or what are you doing anymore? You know, and maybe you ought to go do something else. I think some of them feel that way because they're offended by the strength of my convictions. But I have a real clear conscience about that. I have been privileged of God to be part of something that He is doing. I don't shortchange football. I'm really working hard, and at the same time, football is not as important as all of these other things that are happening.
And while there are those who disagree with some of McCartney's beliefs, maybe even the entire premise of Promise Keepers, when it comes to football, there is no disputing his record. Bill McCartney is a winner. In Boulder, Colorado, for the Big Ten Ticket, I'm Dave Llewellyn.